I know that very much related to what some of like the Latino theology that you started in on um, was really relevant. Commonweal did an awesome issue on sort of congregations and congregational life, and spent a lot of time on on sort of local like Hispanic congregational life. So I don't know if you wanted to kind of share like a little bit about um, sort of standouts from that issue, and that's available for free on the website. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it's so you can view the it's a packet of articles, a package of articles entitled "The American Parish Today," where we wanted to understand that there is sort of this reality in the United States, that there are several crises unfolding and happening, but also pockets of pastoral imagination, as well as where folks are doing the work that we were sort of discussing before. Um, in one such place that is this is happening is in a parish in the diocese of Amarillo in Texas, where Father Hector Madrigal is providing sort of this process of integration, and his parish has been viewed by the USCCB as providing high ecclesial integration, has been labeled as such, because of how, instead of assimilation, how he has brought in not only the Anglo-Euro-American community, in line with the Mexican community, the Mexican-American community, but also refugees from other communities, into places of leadership, within the pastoral, financial council, so on and so forth. And very recently is also integrating this point of a younger generation, so younger Catholics, also in those places of leadership. And that's really the story that we wanted to tell with those parish articles. So there's one on the LGBT Catholic ministry that is happening at St. Paul's here in New York City, in Midtown Manhattan. There's an article on Black Catholic theology and the experience of Black Catholics here in the United States. There are also a couple articles on the shared parish model that kind of works off of that notion of integration. But above all, as we know, as much as certain hierarchical groups would like to continue not thinking that this is the reality, Catholics ages 14 to 29, 50% of them are Latinos in this country. So let me say that again: ages 14 to 29 Catholics, 50% of them are Latino. And now we're seeing that Latino representation, not only includes first generation immigrant communities, but also second, third, and fourth, and even in some places, fifth generation Latinos here living in the United States. And so, that has several implications for evangelization purposes, that has several implications for youth ministry and sort of the Sunday schooling and CCD programs and adult formation and retreats. Because if half of your population can't relate to what you're preaching and what you're teaching and the programming that's happening, and they don't see themselves reflected on the leadership components, then they're going to leave. I mean, it's very simple, and we have lost several talented young men and women, and I say this very much in pain, but also loving in a way. We have lost talent to other denominations, to other Christian denominations, and rightly so, because they haven't seen their experience validated in the Catholic Church. And so we wanted to kind of tell that story. We also wanted to tell the story in some ways pre-pandemic. We had no idea that obviously the pandemic was going to hit, and the packet of articles were published in April this year. We wanted to showcase how in the 1970s or so, there was a presence here in the Northeast of Catholics, but that presence has slowly but surely shifted to the south and southwest, right? And so where are the majority of Catholics? Well, they're in the south and in the southwest. Where are the parishes that are filled with people that, they can't find spaces for them? Where? South and the southwest. Where are the vibrant communities that they're adding more masses on Sundays? Again, in places in Texas, places in Florida, places in New Mexico, in Arizona, in California, so on and so forth. And although here in the Northeast, now the narrative is of closings of parishes and parochial schools pre-pandemic, certainly the pandemic has accelerated that notion. Down in all these other parts of the country, that is not the reality. And so much so that places such as, one that comes to mind, Atlanta, Georgia, Emory University, a couple of years ago, they established this Catholic Studies not only major, but also institute, working with the Archdiocese there of Atlanta. And it's flourishing, not only with folks that are doing the work, but also getting degrees and graduate studies in theology, in Catholic theology specifically, in that part of the country. So hopefully we told, not like I was mentioning before, certainly there's a lot of trauma and a lot of friction and a lot of injustices that have occurred in our communities, but also pockets of imagination, pockets of restorative justice, pockets of play, of creativity and hopefulness. And I think that's, if I'm leaving you with anything, I think that is hopefully the word of hope that I'm leaving you with. Hold on to those pockets of imagination, listen to those lay leaders, that are doing the work, and hopefully bringing about systemic change, not only in our church, but certainly in society. And Olga is one of those folks, one of those prophetic voices that hopefully will bring us forth into a new way of being church here in the United States. Sorry, Damelis, I think I was interrupting you.
No, I was going to add to the numbers. I am in the Archdiocese of Atlanta, and I work for the Aquinas Center at Emory University. And I think the numbers are about 60% of the 100 parishes are in some kind of pre-pandemic, of course, Catholic capital campaign. So they are expanding, they're building, they're growing. So that's, telling of the growth of the Catholic Church here in Georgia, at least, or in North Georgia. But yes, I think we're going in our third year at Candler School of Theology, offering a master's degree in Catholic Studies.
There you go.
And, so there's, I think it's 1.2 million Catholics in the state of Georgia, or no, just in the Archdiocese, which is just north of Macon, so the northern part of the state. But,
I've heard a theologian say this, Hosman Ospino, and I don't think he'll mind me repeating this, that jokingly he once said this to a room full of bishops, that we wish we could take some parish buildings literally and transport them down to the south because of how much of the demand is. Obviously, there was laughter in the room, but I mean, we have seen that happen in Europe and in certain places, and God knows what's going to happen post-pandemic. I will tell you this, though, what the Second Vatican Council sort of envisioned as the domestic church is really being lived out now, especially in places that have been very much hit by COVID, and where social distancing and the numbers are preventing us from meeting in the parish. It's happening at home, and I know many families, many marriages, many husbands and wives, if I can call them teams, passing down the faith, praying with their children, obviously listening virtually to mass, but they're praying at home. And I know I did this within my own household, within my own marriage. When the pandemic hit, we sort of hit the liturgy of the hours and prayed Vespers during that time frame. We didn't need a priest. We didn't need, incense. We didn't need all these, bells and whistles. And I think that's again, another sentiment that we are the church, and we are the present and also the future. It's in a non-clerical state. The Eucharist will always be essential to Christianity and to Catholicism, certainly. But as one Saint Oscar Romero would say, I see the presence of the Lord in the tabernacle and in the people, in the poor people that I encounter out on the streets. And I think that is certainly visible now, particularly. Dwayne,
That is
Rachel,
the perfect place to end on.
thank you so much.
Thank you.